The sound of shattering glass echoed through the luxury penthouse in downtown Seattle. Maya Chen stood frozen in the hallway, her hand instinctively protecting her 6-month pregnant belly as her husband's voice roared through their home. "Pack your things and leave." Marcus Thompson's words cut through the air like knives. The successful tech entrepreneur stood in their living room, his face twisted with contempt, while his business partner Jessica Rivers watched from the doorway with barely concealed satisfaction. Maya's voice trembled. "Marcus, please. The baby is due in 3 months. I just need time to find time." Marcus laughed bitterly, pouring himself another drink. "I've given you 3 years of my life. 3 years watching you contribute nothing while I built my empire. You're like an anchor dragging me down." Jessica stepped forward, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floor. "Marcus is right, Maya. Some women aren't cut out for this lifestyle. Maybe it's better for everyone if you move on." The elderly building manager, Mrs. Patterson, appeared at the door, her kind face etched with concern. "Mr. Thompson, it's past midnight. Surely this can wait until morning." Marcus whirled around. "Stay out of this, Mrs. Patterson. This is between me and my wife." Maya stared at her suitcase, already packed and waiting by the stairs. The betrayal was planned, premeditated. While she'd been at her prenatal appointment that afternoon, Marcus and Jessica had orchestrated her removal like a corporate takeover. "I gave up my career for you," Maya whispered, tears streaming down her face. "My father's offer to work at his medical research company. My dreams of becoming a pediatrician. All for you." Marcus sneered. "Your father? That quiet man who worked in laboratories his whole life? Please. I built Thompson Tech from nothing. Your family has nothing to do with my success." The words hung in the air, heavy with irony that Marcus couldn't comprehend. Maya's father, Dr. James Chen, had indeed worked in laboratories, but Marcus had no idea what he'd been building there, or the fortune he'd quietly accumulated. As Maya reached for her suitcase, her phone vibrated. An unknown number. A single message. "Your father prepared for this moment. Call attorney Sarah Mitchell. Everything is ready." Maya's breath caught. Her father had passed away 2 years ago, but his words echoed in her memory. "Maya, if anyone ever treats you as less than you are, remember, you carry the Chen legacy. I've made sure you'll never be powerless." She looked up at Marcus one final time. "One day, you'll understand what you've lost tonight." Marcus laughed, pulling Jessica close. "The only thing I'm losing is dead weight." As Maya walked into the cold Seattle night, Mrs. Patterson pressed a business card into her hand. "Your father once helped my son get into medical school when no one else would. He was a good man. I think he'd be proud of your strength tonight." Maya stepped onto the rain-slicked street, the city lights blurring through her tears. Behind her, through the penthouse windows, Jessica and Marcus toasted with champagne, celebrating what they thought was victory. But in her pocket, Maya's phone glowed with another message. "Chen Medical Holdings. $400 million estate. You are the sole heir. The inheritance activates upon proof of betrayal in marriage. Your father's wisdom protects you now." The rain began to fall harder, but Maya stood taller. The broken wife was beginning to disappear, replaced by something stronger, her father's daughter. Clapperboard, if this story resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share in the comments where you're watching from, and let us know what you think Maya should do next. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories of resilience and justice. Like this video if you believe karma is real. The rooftop bar of the Emerald Tower sparkled with excess. Crystal chandeliers, champagne towers, and Seattle's elite mingled beneath string lights that made everything look like a fairy tale. But this was no fairy tale. This was Marcus Thompson's victory party. To freedom. Marcus raised his glass, his arm wrapped around Jessica Rivers. To building an empire without anyone holding me back. The crowd erupted in applause. Tech investors, social media influencers, and business partners filled the space, their laughter echoing across the Seattle skyline. Nobody knew, or cared, that his pregnant wife was somewhere in the city with nowhere to go. Jessica, stunning in a crimson dress, kissed Marcus's cheek for the cameras. "You deserve this, baby. You've worked so hard." From her position near the bar, Jessica's assistant Kelly Wong captured everything on video. "This is perfect content," Kelly whispered. "The engagement is going to be insane." Across the room, veteran investor David Park watched the spectacle with growing unease. He'd known Marcus for 5 years and had always wondered how the young entrepreneur had scaled Thompson Tech so quickly. The numbers had never quite added up. "Something bothering you, David?" Marcus approached, confidence radiating from every gesture. David swirled his drink. "Just curious, Marcus. How exactly did you secure your initial funding? The seed money that started everything." Marcus's smile didn't waver. "Hard work, smart decisions, and a little luck. You know how it goes." But David did know. He'd done his research. Thompson Tech's first major investment had come from an anonymous benefactor, a silent partner who'd asked for nothing in return except that Marcus treat his family well. David had always suspected it was connected to Maya's father, but he'd never found proof. "Your prenup was solid, I assume?" David asked casually. "Ironclad," Marcus boasted. "She signed it right after I found out about the pregnancy. No claim to anything I built. It's all mine." Jessica laughed, leaning into Marcus. "Smart man. Women like Maya don't understand business. They're too emotional." Kelly continued recording, uploading clips to social media in real time. The hashtag Thompson Success was already trending in Seattle. Meanwhile, in a modest law office across town, Maya sat across from attorney Sarah Mitchell. The conference room was quiet, the contrast to Marcus's party stark and deliberate. Sarah, a sharp woman in her 50s with steel-gray hair, spread documents across the table. "Your father was brilliant, Maya. He predicted this scenario almost perfectly." "I don't understand," Maya said, her voice still raw from crying. "My father was a medical researcher. He worked in laboratories. How could he have this much money?" Sarah smiled. "Your father didn't just work in laboratories, he owned them. Chen Medical Holdings controls 12 research facilities across 3 countries. His patents for cancer treatment protocols alone are worth hundreds of millions. He kept it quiet, lived modestly, because he wanted to protect you from people like Marcus." Maya's hands trembled as she picked up a document. Her father's handwriting, familiar and comforting, filled the margins with notes. Sarah continued. "He structured everything carefully. The inheritance only activates if you're betrayed in marriage. Specifically, if you're abandoned while pregnant or financially vulnerable. Your father wrote, 'If Maya is reading this, it means someone failed to see her worth. Let these resources show her the truth.'" "Marcus used my father's money?" Maya whispered. "The initial investment that launched Thompson Tech came from a Chen Medical Holdings subsidiary. Marcus never knew the source. Your father made it anonymous, hoping Marcus would prove worthy. He gave him a chance to build something honest." Private investigator Tom Rodriguez entered the room, carrying a thick folder. "Mrs. Thompson, we've been monitoring the situation as your father requested. Marcus has been embezzling from his own investors for the past 18 months. Maya looked up sharply. "What?" Tom opened the folder, revealing bank statements, wire transfers, and email threads. "He's moving money to offshore accounts through shell companies. His business partner Jessica is involved too. They've been planning to liquidate Thompson Tech's assets and disappear." Sarah's expression hardened. "Your father's final clause states that if his investment was obtained through deception, all assets built with that capital revert to you. Marcus doesn't own Thompson Tech, Maya. You do." The room fell silent except for the rain against the windows. Maya touched her belly, feeling her baby kick. "What do I do?" she asked quietly. Sarah leaned forward. "We wait. We let Marcus celebrate. We let him feel untouchable. And then, when he's most confident, we show him the truth. Across town, Marcus's laughter boomed through the rooftop bar. David Park excused himself, pulling out his phone to call his attorney. Something was very wrong with this picture. As midnight approached, Kelly's live stream captured Marcus making another toast. To everyone who doubted me, you were wrong. To everyone who believed in me, thank you. And to anyone who thought they could slow me down, watch me fly. The crowd cheered, glasses clinked, and cameras flashed. But in her office, Sarah Mitchell filed the first legal motion. The countdown had begun. The morning headlines painted Marcus Thompson as Seattle's newest success story. His face dominated tech blogs and business journals. Thompson Tech CEO celebrates milestone, and, from startup to empire, Marcus Thompson's journey filled social media feeds. But in a quiet cafe downtown, Maya sat with a new team, watching a very different story unfold on Sarah Mitchell's laptop. These are his real numbers, Tom Rodriguez explained, pointing at spreadsheets that told a story of fraud. He's been inflating Thompson Tech's value by reporting fake contracts and phantom clients. Sarah added, his partnership with Jessica isn't just romantic, it's criminal. She's been helping him create fake invoices to justify money transfers to their offshore accounts. Maya studied the documents, her analytical mind, trained by years of pre-med studies, seeing the patterns. He's stealing from his own investors. Exactly, Tom confirmed. And one of those investors was your father. Laura Kim, a forensic accountant Sarah had brought onto the team, pulled up another screen. The initial $5 million that started Thompson Tech came from Chan Medical Holdings. Your father structured it as a silent investment, hoping Marcus would succeed honestly. He gave Marcus a chance, Maya whispered, understanding her father's generosity even in death. But here's the critical part, Sarah said, her tone sharp with legal precision. When Marcus made you sign that prenup while pregnant, claiming you had no right to his assets, he committed fraud. He knew, or should have known, that his company was built on your family's money. Maya's phone buzzed. A message from Mrs. Patterson. Your father always said patience was stronger than anger. I think he'd be proud of how you're handling this. Across town, Marcus sat in his corner office, feet on his desk, reading the glowing articles about himself. Jessica entered, her expression troubled. We have a problem, she said quietly, closing the door. Marcus barely looked up. What kind of problem? Our accountant, David Chin, just quit. He sent a resignation email at midnight and CC'd his lawyer. Marcus's feet hit the floor. David Chen? Any relation to Maya's family, Jessica finished. Apparently, her father helped him get his accounting degree years ago. He's been quietly documenting everything. For the first time, uncertainty crossed Marcus's face. What does he know? Everything, Jessica said, her voice tight. The offshore accounts, the fake invoices, the inflated valuations. He's been our accountant for 2 years, Marcus. He knows where every dollar went. Marcus stood abruptly. We pay him off. Name his price. He's not interested in money, Jessica replied. His email said, Dr. Chen taught me that integrity isn't negotiable. I won't be part of this anymore. Marcus grabbed his phone, but before he could dial, his assistant knocked urgently. Mr. Thompson, there are federal auditors in the lobby. They're asking for access to company financial records. The color drained from Marcus's face. On what grounds? They have a warrant, the assistant said nervously. Anonymous tip about securities fraud. Jessica's hands trembled. Marcus, what do we do? But Marcus was staring out his window at the Seattle skyline, realizing for the first time that he might not be as untouchable as he thought. In the cafe, Maya received a text from Tom. The auditors are in his office. He's starting to panic. Sarah closed her laptop with satisfaction. Phase 1 complete. He knows he's being watched, but he doesn't know who's watching or what they know. That uncertainty will make him sloppy. What's phase 2? Maya asked. We wait for him to make a mistake. Desperate people always do. That evening, Marcus called an emergency meeting with his leadership team. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by sharp, anxious energy. Someone is trying to sabotage us, he announced. I want every employee interviewed. Find the leak. David Park, who'd been invited as a major investor, spoke calmly. Marcus, maybe the issue isn't a leak. Maybe the issue is that your foundation isn't as solid as you claimed. Marcus glared. What's that supposed to mean? It means, David said slowly, that I've been asking questions. About your initial funding. About your revenue claims. About the anonymous benefactor who believed in you when no one else did. The room went silent. That benefactor, David continued, was Dr. James Chen, Maya's father. The man you insulted the night you threw out his pregnant daughter. Marcus's jaw clenched. That's none of your concern. It became my concern when I realized you've been committing fraud with money that never belonged to you in the first place. Marcus stood, his voice rising. Get out. You're done as an investor. David smiled coldly. I already withdrew my investment this morning. And I advised 3 others to do the same. Your house of cards is falling, Marcus. The question is whether you'll admit it or wait for it to crush you. As David left, Jessica pulled Marcus aside. This is getting out of control. Maybe we should cut our losses and... And what? Marcus snapped. Run. Hide. I built this company. You built it with stolen money and lies, Jessica hissed. We need an exit strategy. But outside the building, Tom Rodriguez was photographing everyone who entered and exited. Sarah Mitchell was filing additional legal motions. And Maya was reading her father's final letter, tears streaming down her face. My dearest Maya, if you're reading this, someone has hurt you deeply. But remember, storms don't destroy strong trees. They reveal how deep the roots go. Your roots run deep. Show them what the Chen family is made of. With all my love, Dad. Maya folded the letter carefully, placed it in her bag, and looked at Sarah. I'm ready. Let's finish this. The Seattle Times headline hit like a tsunami. Thompson Tech under federal investigation. Fraud allegations surface. By 9 a.m., Marcus Thompson's world was imploding. His office phone rang non-stop, investors demanding answers, partners threatening lawsuits, board members calling emergency meetings. The empire he'd built was cracking, and everyone could hear it. In the glass-walled conference room, Marcus faced his remaining leadership team. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, his designer suit wrinkled from a sleepless night. This is a witch hunt, he insisted, his voice strained. Some disgruntled employee made false claims to damage our reputation. His CFO, Robert Hayes, slid a document across the table. Marcus, the federal auditors have proof of 18 different violations. Fake invoices, phantom clients, inflated contracts. This isn't a disgruntled employee. This is years of systematic fraud. Jessica, sitting at the far end of the table, had gone pale. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages from her own lawyer. We need to cooperate fully, Robert continued. If we comply now, maybe we can negotiate. Negotiate. Marcus slammed his fist on the table. I'm not negotiating with anyone. David Park, who'd arrived with his attorney, spoke coldly. Then you're a fool. The evidence is overwhelming, Marcus. Your only option is damage control. Marcus turned on him. This is your doing, isn't it? You and Maya, trying to destroy me. Maya. David's laugh was bitter. Maya is 8 months pregnant and living in a small apartment across town. She's not thinking about you at all. But that wasn't entirely true. At that moment, Maya stood in attorney Sarah Mitchell's office, watching a live news feed of Thompson Tech stock price plummeting. He's panicking, Tom Rodriguez observed, monitoring social media. He just posted a rant claiming he's the victim of a conspiracy. Sarah shook her head. Desperation makes people stupid. He's only making it worse. Laura Kim, reviewing the final financial documents, looked up. Maya, we have everything we need. Your father's initial investment, proof that Marcus knew about it, documentation of every fraudulent transaction, and evidence that he deliberately hid this from you when he made you sign the prenup. What happens now? Maya asked quietly, her hand resting on her belly. Now, Sarah said with grim satisfaction, we file the lawsuit. Chen Medical Holdings versus Thompson Tech. We're not just suing for the original investment. We're claiming ownership of every asset built with that money. Which is everything, Tom added. Thompson Tech literally wouldn't exist without your father's $5 million. Maya closed her eyes, remembering her father's words. Sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to let justice speak for itself. File it, she said softly. By noon, the lawsuit hit the courts. By 1 p.m., it was national news. Widow claims billionaire status. Late father's fortune backs her case against tech CEO husband. In his office, Marcus read the headline 3 times, the words not making sense. Billionaire. Her father was nobody. He worked in research labs. Jessica grabbed his arm. Marcus, read the lawsuit. Chen Medical Holdings owns 12 research facilities. Her father held patents worth hundreds of millions. The man you called a broke dreamer was one of the wealthiest medical researchers in the country. Marcus's vision blurred. He remembered that night, throwing Maya out, insulting her father's memory, celebrating his freedom. The champagne suddenly tasted like ash in his memory. She can't do this, he whispered. The prenup. The prenup is void, Jessica said flatly. Her lawyers are claiming fraud. You made her sign it while she was pregnant, vulnerable, and you deliberately hid the fact that your company was built on her family's money. Marcus sank into his chair as the realization hit. He hadn't just betrayed Maya, he'd destroyed himself. His phone rang. His mother. Marcus Anthony Thompson, what have you done? Her voice cracked with disappointment. That sweet girl was carrying your baby, and you threw her out like garbage? Mom, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. Your father and I raised you better than this. Maya's father helped fund your first clinic visit when you were sick as a child. Dr. Chen never charged us, said he believed in helping people. And this is how you repay his daughter. The call ended. Marcus sat in silence as another call came through, his lawyer. Marcus, we need to talk about the possibility of criminal charges. Wire fraud, securities fraud, conspiracy. You're looking at serious prison time if convicted. The walls were closing in. Through his office window, Marcus could see news vans gathering in the parking lot below. His assistant knocked timidly. Mr. Thompson, the board is calling an emergency vote. They're voting on whether to remove you as CEO. Jessica stood, gathering her things. I'm leaving, Marcus. My lawyer says I should distance myself immediately. You can't, Marcus said desperately. We're in this together. No, Jessica corrected coldly. You're in this. I was just stupid enough to get too close. As she left, Marcus's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. You called me dead weight. But weight can anchor or it can sink. You chose to sink yourself. Maya. That evening, Maya stood at the window of her small apartment, watching the city lights. Mrs. Patterson had brought soup, insisting she needed to eat for the baby. Your father would be so proud, the elderly woman said gently. Not because you're getting revenge, but because you're standing up for what's right. Maya smiled sadly. I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing this so my child never has to wonder if their mother was strong enough to fight back. Her phone rang. Sarah Mitchell. Maya, the board voted. Marcus has been removed as CEO of Thompson Tech. Federal prosecutors are formally charging him with fraud. And the court has frozen all his assets pending the outcome of your lawsuit. Maya took a deep breath. And the company? Because your father's investment was the foundation, and because Marcus built everything using fraudulently obtained capital, the court is likely to rule that Chen Medical Holdings has majority claim. You won't just get your father's investment back, Maya. You'll own Thompson Tech. As Maya processed this, she felt her baby kick strongly, as if celebrating. What do I do with a tech company? She wondered aloud. Sarah's voice was warm. Whatever your father would have wanted. Something good. Something honest. That night, as Marcus sat alone in his empty penthouse, surrounded by lawyers and facing an uncertain future, he finally understood the truth. He hadn't lost everything tonight. He'd lost everything the night he called his wife dead weight and threw away the one person who truly believed in him. 3 months later, Maya Chen stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows of her new office, the same office Marcus had once occupied. But everything else had changed. The nameplate on the door now read, Chen Thompson Technologies, CEO. Maya Chen, MD. She'd kept Thompson in the name. Not for Marcus, but because her father had believed in second chances, even for companies built on shaky foundations. Sarah Mitchell entered, carrying a folder. The final court ruling came through. You officially own 87% of the company. The remaining shares are distributed among legitimate investors who weren't involved in the fraud. Maya turned, her newborn daughter sleeping peacefully in a carrier on her chest. And Marcus. Sentenced to 4 years in federal prison for securities fraud, embezzlement, and wire fraud. He'll be eligible for parole in 2 years with good behavior. Maya nodded slowly, feeling not triumph but a quiet sense of closure. Justice had been served, but it brought no joy, only relief. There's something else, Sarah continued. Marcus requested to see you. He's allowed 1 visitor this week, and he asked for it to be you. Maya looked down at her daughter, Eden, named after the garden, a place of new beginnings. What could he possibly have to say? That's up to you to decide if you want to hear it. 2 days later, Maya walked through the security checkpoint at the Federal Correctional Institution. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. Forgiveness isn't about them, Maya. It's about freeing yourself. Marcus sat across from her in the visitation room, looking nothing like the arrogant CEO who'd thrown her out. His prison jumpsuit hung loosely on his thinner frame. His eyes, once sharp with ambition, now held something else, regret. You came, he said quietly, his voice hoarse. I came for me, not for you, Maya replied calmly. What did you want to say? Marcus's hands trembled slightly. I destroyed everything. My company, my reputation, my freedom. But that's not what haunts me. He looked up, tears in his eyes. I destroyed us. I destroyed the best thing in my life because I was too blind to see it. Maya remained still, her expression neutral. You called me dead weight, Marcus. You celebrated my pain. You made me believe I was worthless. I know, he whispered. And I was wrong about everything. Your father. He was the one who saved me when my own startup was failing. That anonymous investment that appeared exactly when I needed it? That was him. He believed in me when no one else did, and I repaid him by abusing his daughter. Why are you telling me this now? Marcus wiped his eyes. Because you deserve to know the truth. Your father called me once, about 6 months before he died. He said, Marcus, I'm giving you something precious, my trust and my daughter's future. Don't waste either. I promised him I wouldn't. His voice broke. I broke that promise in the worst way possible. Maya felt her own eyes sting, but she held her composure. My father saw potential in everyone. That was his gift and his weakness. He saw something in you that I was too arrogant to recognize, Marcus continued. You gave up your medical career for me. You supported every crazy business idea. You believed in me. And I threw it all away for what? Money. Status. An affair with someone who abandoned me the second things got difficult. What happened to Jessica? Maya asked. She took a plea deal. Testified against me to reduce her sentence. She's out on probation. Marcus laughed bitterly. Turns out loyalty means nothing when your empire is built on lies. Silence filled the space between them. Finally, Maya spoke, her voice steady and clear. I didn't come here to absolve you, Marcus. I came because my father taught me that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So I'm letting go, not for you, but for me and for my daughter. You had the baby, Marcus whispered, fresh tears falling. Boy or girl? A girl. Eden. Eden, he repeated softly. That's beautiful. Maya stood, preparing to leave. I hope you find peace, Marcus. Real peace, not the kind that comes from money or power, but the kind that comes from becoming a better person. Maya, wait. Marcus's voice stopped her at the door. What you're doing with the company, the charity programs, the medical research funding, the employee assistance programs. Your father would be so proud. She turned back one final time. I'm not doing it for pride. I'm doing it because that's what the Chen family has always done. Build things that help people, not hurt them. As Maya walked out of the prison, she felt lighter. The weight of betrayal, anger, and pain seemed to lift with each step. Her father had been right. Forgiveness was freedom. 6 months later, Maya stood at the podium of the Seattle Convention Center, addressing a crowd of investors, employees, and medical professionals. Chen Thompson Technologies isn't just about profit, she announced. It's about purpose. We're partnering with children's hospitals to provide free technology for pediatric care. We're funding medical research for diseases that pharmaceutical companies ignore because they're not profitable enough. We're proving that business success and human compassion can coexist. The audience rose in standing ovation. Among them sat David Park, Mrs. Patterson, Sarah Mitchell, Tom Rodriguez, and Laura Kim, the team that had stood by her when she had nothing. After the presentation, a young woman approached Maya nervously. Ms. Chin, I'm a single mother trying to finish medical school. I heard about your scholarship program. Maya smiled warmly, remembering when she'd been in similar shoes. Dreams deferred, hope fragile. Tell me about yourself. As the young woman shared her story, Maya glanced at her phone. A message from Mrs. Patterson. Your father is smiling down today, dear. You've turned pain into purpose. That evening, Maya sat in her apartment, larger now, but still modest, rocking Eden to sleep. On the wall hung a photograph of her father in his laboratory, his gentle smile reminding her of where she came from. Your grandfather was a genius, Eden, Maya whispered. Not because he made millions, but because he understood that real wealth is measured in lives changed, not dollars earned. Her phone buzzed. An email from Marcus, who was allowed limited internet access for good behavior. It contained just one line. Thank you for showing me what strength really looks like. Maya didn't reply. She'd said everything she needed to say. Her story wasn't about Marcus anymore. It was about her, her daughter, and the legacy her father had left behind. As she looked out at the Seattle skyline, the same view that Marcus had once enjoyed from his penthouse, Maya understood something profound. She hadn't won by destroying him. She'd won by refusing to let his cruelty destroy her. The dead weight he'd tried to discard had become the foundation of something better. Something honest. Something that would outlast his empire of lies. And that, Maya realized, was the truest form of justice. Clapperboard, what an incredible journey. Thank you for watching Maya's story of resilience, justice, and redemption. If this inspired you, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share powerful stories of courage every week. Flexed biceps. Backhand index pointing down, drop a comment. What would you do in Maya's position? Show mercy or go all in? Red heart, like this video if you believe that character always defeats corruption. Outbox tray share with someone who needs to hear that betrayal isn't the end. It's sometimes the beginning of your greatest chapter. Bell, don't forget to check out our other stories of triumph over adversity. Remember, your worth isn't determined by who fails to see it. You are stronger than you know. Thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, keep standing strong. Sparkles ***.